in any case, Willis this is a good opportunity for you to get excited on something other than what you got.
Right.
Yeah. All right. We got to refocus. All right. Adam.
Okay, feature advantage benefit with Fort Worth. Why do we feature advantage benefit? I ask you all this question every time we train.
Build value.
To build value. It's 100% number one, the only thing we do it for. So if you're price shopping and you spend 30 minutes in this home and you tell them $69.9 and they go down the road and they spend 31 minutes with them and tell them $69.8, who wins? They do. You've got to build value in yourself, the product, the company, and everything you do, i.e. the storybook inside. So you got to bring that out here in your feature advantage benefit, okay? So specific things with Fort Worth, as far as features, and I'm going to go over the features first and then we'll get into the advantage benefit part. Features specific with Fort Worth that nobody else offers are dual ball bearing drawer guides. They're 200-pound drawer guides, the same thing you'll find in your filing cabinets inside the office. The more weight you put in them, the more they roll. Don't put 200 pounds in them, obviously. But the more weight you put in them, the more they're going to roll. That's going to give you the ability to have a long-lasting product, put more weight in there, fully extendable drawers, so you're not getting bit by that thing in the back, because most drawers come up to about right here. You never see what's back there, chains, dust, tacks, that's what's in my drawer. Every time I reach back there, I get bit by something. So these actually can extend all the way out. Plywood drawer sides. Another big thing that we do, and y'all can't see it from there, we'll look at it here in a little bit when we actually start feature benefiting, but there's a fourth piece. Everyone does 3 pieces and then they stick the drawer on there. That's how my house, my home is. And then they're stapled in. Well, you shut that thing enough by my kids, now it's popped out and that door's coming off. Well, there's nothing here to attach it to. We actually put the fourth piece and the door screwed into a piece of wood here versus being into the sides, tied into the sides. So that's just in your drawer system specific to Fort Worth, which has been a big change. Before I came down south as my region, we had regular, I don't even remember what they're called anymore, I've been using these so long, but the regular little metal drawer sides that most people have used for years. And we had tons of service issues, and so we begged for these for so long, we were able to get these as the standard, which allowed me to get product down here, because for a long time, because of Austin's drawer system, we weren't able to get a lot of product down here. Now I got obviously tons of product. But number one drawer system to me in the industry, specific to Fort Worth. Another thing that's specific to Fort Worth as far as I know, and it's something I go over, and y'all have never heard me go over this, but is the magnet. I know that sounds crazy, guys, but it is specific to get it off. Put a little thing, it's hard to get off sometimes. It's specific to Fort Worth, so all of our warranties for the first year, everybody touts the 12-year warranty, the 5-year warranty, the warranties for all of our houses, but specific to Fort Worth, we put the magnet. And what is on that magnet? It has your Whirlpool number, your Rheem number, every part that's covered in that first year warranty that's a major system is on there, the contact information. Okay, so you can go back there, see what's on your data plate, what you have, and then take that information and go right to your magnet on here, because you know they call for service and they want those numbers, and they're all right here. So you know you never talk about it with the customer. It's a perfect feature benefit for the customer. Not only do we title warranty, we make sure you have the numbers right there on every home, on the magnet, home over Fort Worth, right there. And then you go to your data plate. We'll walk back there and do the feature benefit here in a little while, and you compare that, and you can go right into your energy efficiency from your data plate, from your magnet to your data plate, and then talk about your energy efficiency, because it'll say like -23. Do y'all all know what that number means on your data plate? Do y'all know what a data plate is? I guess let's just start there.
Sure.
Come on. Let's go back there and check it out.
I do.
Yay! You have to come in here. Those of you that do don't have to come in here.
I know what it is.
Those of you that don't come in here.
It's that sheet that has all the-
We'll all get real close and get sick. Sorry.
No.
You know what it is? Okay. So this is your data plate, guys. And this right here is where your Whirlpool lines are that tells you what you have. Like if it's a Rheem, you know to call Rheem on the magnet. Does that make sense? So you can go from there, because not only do we care about our product and our people after the sale, but we also believe in our energy efficiency on your data plate, because since you're already here, you can roll right into talking about it. And on this particular data plate, it says -5. That means this heating can heat this home when it's -5 outside and keep a constant temperature of 70 without overworking the system. So so I always tie it to your car. So how fast can your car go? Like top speed. You just floored it and let it go, and we're okay with it, and everything was safe.
160.
It could go real fast, right? So you think it could do 70 pretty comfortably, right? So think when it's 70 degrees outside, how does your AC work compared to -5? So if it can work that well at -5 and it's 70 outside, how or 30, let's say, even outside, and your furnace is having to work a little bit, you're gonna work at 30? Just like your car can work at 70, just fine, right? That's comfortable.
Right.
So that's what this is, it's comfortable. So when it's 32 outside, your home is gonna be comfortable with your furnace. And very energy efficient, because that's what that means, right? Absolutely. So that's tying your magnet right into your data plate, right into your energy efficiency, okay? That's something specific to Fort Worth because of the magnet. Is everybody else doing the magnet on the fridges?
No.
Okay. So that's a big deal. How many calls do you get? Well,
Wow.
a lot of them. And so we wanna, that's another thing in Fort Worth, we wanna bring that away from you guys and put it back onto the customers so they can handle their own housing. Because they are homeowners and that's okay. Okay, guys? Let's go ahead and
All right, y'all come on out. All the expert.
remember what's specific. So we went over it a few times. The third thing for me is gonna be my 2x4 top plate and bottom plate. Does everybody know what a top plate and bottom plate is? And it's okay if you don't.
So it connects the roof.
To your walls, absolutely, okay? So your roof comes down, the walls come up, something has to go in between those to connect them. The industry standard is a 1x4, okay? So you have a 3/4 inch piece of wood, because no 1 inch piece of wood is true 1 inch, it's 3/4, and now they're cheating even a little more, it's between 1/2 inch and 3/4. It's a little over half, but it's not quite even 3/4 anymore. So you've got literally just over a 1/2 inch piece of wood holding your roof to your walls. In any given situation, it doesn't have to be tornadoes and hurricanes. Let's just talk about regular 60-mile-an-hour storms. That's a standard product. So if your mom is in there sleeping, while kids are in there sleeping, and you got a big storm coming, the winds are gusted. If y'all don't know, when wind's blowing, at all times, it's pushing your eave and trying to rip off your roof. That's a fact. 1 mile-an-hour wind, 2 mile-an-hour wind, doesn't matter. At all times, when wind's hitting the house, it hits the eave and pushes. And so you need the most strength you can. Now, you think 1x4 to 2x4, which is our standard, is a 2x4. You think twice the lumber, twice the strength. It's actually 3 times the strength holding your roof to your walls and your flooring to your walls than our standard build, or your standard smaller builders, if you will. So you get 3 times the strength. Now, knowing that, when you're sleeping at night, do you think you'd feel a little better about that? With your kids being in the other room and the storm coming? Absolutely you would. Now, you're going to tie that construction right into energy efficiency and resale value as well, guys. If it's built well because of our construction, is it going to be more energy efficient? Is it going to be more better resale value? Absolutely. Bing, bing, bing. They all tie in together, so you can keep pounding those 3 items. Strength and Fort Worth. But are we going to weather the storm?
Yeah.
Absolutely. Why do you think we weather the storm? Everybody knows that weathering the storm training. That's a specific to Palm Harbor, not necessarily Fort Worth. But that's a way to tie in your 2x4 top plate and bottom plate with 3 times the strength directly into why we weathered the storm and give that weathering the storm story on top of that and really tie them together strong, okay? So that's another thing specific to Palm Harbor, Fort Worth. Now Austin does that as well, but it is specific to us because nobody talks about it. Your other plants, I don't know if they're doing it, but I know they're not doing both plates, bottom and top, okay? We do both no matter what. Another specific thing to Fort Worth, believe it or not, and it sounds so silly because it's like tires on a car, but it's plumb for an ice maker. Behind the fridge, there's a water line, no matter what. Even if you don't get a side-by-side fridge, if you get an over and under with no ice maker, we're still gonna put a water line behind that, in that wall, no matter what. That way, when they wanna replace that fridge later down the road, get something fancy, they're not calling you up and, oh my gosh, I bought a $150,000 home and it doesn't have a water line. Are you kidding me? You know, that's just the worst phone call you could ever get. So we try to be the common sense factory, so I'm gonna go through a few more common sense things besides just that. But obviously the feature benefit on that is you can replace your fridge later on and always have a ice maker line if you didn't get one through us. The next thing is the whole house shutoff valve. It's gonna be right there in every home, in the utility room, and every home we build, single wides, double wides, it doesn't matter what it is, it's in our homes, okay? We are building single wides again, so that is going to be it's our standard for our single wides. It's going to follow your super saver line, okay? Whole house shutoff valve, you know the feature benefit there. We're going to do these later again, but you go out of town, you want to have a peace of mind, you can just turn it off. If you want to shut it off and you're working on some systems in the house, upgrading some sinks, whatever you'd like to do. If you don't want to turn off just the sink, you can turn off the whole house. that's always a big deal. Specific to Fort Worth with the brass shutoff valve. I always hit on the brass shutoff valve with the whole house shutoff valve. Brass is always your best for running water in our opinion. Specific to Fort Worth is also our block moldings. Everything we do is that farmhouse block. I'm not saying it's going to stay that way forever, but right now that is our standard. We're one of the few that do offer the standard block and have been since day one. It does give you that modern farmhouse feel. That is specific to Palm Harbor. It is a popular look. I know it's a lifestyle feature benefit, but it's still a feature benefit that people are very into right now, obviously, with the farmhouse. So I would definitely be talking about our farmhouse specific scenario. Also the backsplash or pipe molding, our pipe fittings, pipe shelving is specific to Fort Worth. We're the only ones that are doing the handmade stained actual wood for all of our pipe fittings as our standard and our look. The benefit to those is again lifestyle for sure. Wood rods and shelves. I know that sounds crazy, but that's specific to Palm Harbor, Fort Worth. We do them standard in every product no matter what. You do not have to worry about getting a wire rack in any home I build, ever, ever, ever. And I'm not saying those don't have their qualities, but we prefer the wood rods and shelves. And we are doing the shown wooden dowel rods. They used to have a plastic cover over them, and now we're actually doing the wood dowel rods. Customers just prefer the plastic cover to make the hangers easier to slide, but customers prefer to see that real wood because they always ask, is this real wood? Specific to our house also, 3882 front door, steel, insulated. You notice how quiet it is in here? There is a major highway right there. That is one of your feature benefits. It's also an energy efficient door and gives you a color to give you a look inside this particular home. That's 3882 is a big deal when they're moving in their stuff. Everybody's moved into a house, trying to move the stuff through the front door, and they can't even get through the front door with their stuff. So they're having to take it off the hinges and try to figure it out. When you've got about 36.5 inches of opening there, all big couches, everything's gonna fit through that door. It's your standard site-built track home front door size, okay? And you can exchange that at Home Depot or Lowe's as well, which is a big deal to people. Specific to Fort Worth, let's see what else. There's a bunch of stuff. I gotta figure this out. I had it all. We gotta go outside. I'm gonna go H clips.
All right.
They're frame clips. At least it's nice and cool out here today. Comparatively speaking. Okay, frame clips. Now here at Fort Worth, we actually use frame clips. We weld them to our frame every 16 inches. Now, some manufacturers tow those in. Do y'all know what that means when they say tow those in? We weld ours. When they tow it in, they actually take a washer with the bolt and they put the washer through the stud, and then the washer, they pinch the frame in between the stud and the washer with the bolt. So it's literally just clipped in, which is what they call towed in, with a bolt and a washer that's not even actually going through the frame. Okay, it's literally just like this. Versus our clips are welded every 16 inches, and our frame bolts go through our clips into the wood, into our floor bolts. Does that make sense? And they're all accessible. You can actually see them. Really easy. You can see them across here.
Oh, they're there, trust me.
Going back through that, I'm not sure the phone will see them. I apologize for that. But they are there. There's one right there. And they're actually welded in. Now, the frame is one of the most important parts of your house. It's like the foundation. If you pour concrete on a brick home and you pour it wrong and you build the home on it, is your house going to be right? Any part of it? No. And it's the same thing with our frames. We want to make sure that frame is as sturdy as they come. Let's see, specific to Palm Harbor, Fort Worth. Cold rolled steel frames, 12.5-inch I-beams on our 32 wides and our 76-footer big ones. Not 12, they're actually 12.5-inch I-beams. Most of the industry standard is going to be 10 to 12 at most. We use that half-inch extra on when you get above 68 feet is the norm. Okay? That's going to give you a lot of extra strength on your longer homes, keep the home from the weight from bending it down, even after the blocking, and it gives it a lot of extra strength coming down the road as well to protect your investment. Another thing specific is 12-inch eaves. All of my double wides have 12-inch eaves all the way around the home. We're the only ones that do that. That is specific to us. And not only are they 12-inch eaves residential, which some parks require 12-inch eaves to get you into that park area, they're fully ventilated. Now, every manufactured home ventilates their eaves or ventilate some part of the home. Like Solitaire, they stick a cap on each end, okay, and it flows through this way. But we're one of the only ones that I know of that vents all the way around, the ends, the front, and the back. And you can see it's every 3 inches or so in the perforation all the way around the home. Now, what does that do for you? You've got turtle boxes, what we call them on top. They're black caps on the top of the house. Those are silver. They look like that. And we have black on top, and that allows that hot air to rise and it's going to suck cooler air through this eave. It's going to cool that attic down. It's going to keep your electricity bills way low, okay? Which is obviously we don't want to pay the electricity. And if you've renewed your electricity lately, you just almost doubled, so you know the pain for sure. It is way up. 25-year single is going to be my standard on all product. Specific to Palm Harbor, Fort Worth. Are they still doing 20 out there? Not anymore. Okay, so for a little while there, I think they were getting some batches, so that's not specific to us anymore, and I apologize for that. Metal roofs. That is specific to us. I know it's optional, but it is specific to us. We are the biggest metal roof of any manufactured home dealer that we know of, as far as at a factory level. They're 26 gauge roof, not 29 gauge. They're class 4 impact resistant. That gives you, pending the insurance company, of course, but most insurance companies will give you an insurance discount because it can resist hail more at that class 4 impact rating.
So it's hail proof?
Not hail proof. It's just class 4 impact resistant. Fireproof, hail proof, ready to go. All proofs. I love it. I know y'all don't spend much time, and it's you're optioning in on a lot of these with Smart Side siding.
Yeah.
Nobody's spending a whole lot of time on the outside of the home, and I always talk about Smart Side. It's a 50-year warranty. It's not necessarily Fort Worth specific, but you've got to talk about it. 50-year warranty product, just like your Hardy boards of the world. Won't crack on you when it gets dried out like Hardy board will. Has lots of good features to it. You paint it once in the first 5 years, and it actually extends your warranty out even further. It's like a 25-50 is what it is, and then it extends it out if you paint it in the first 10 years, even with a clear coat. You get a better warranty with it. Once that's done, you get a full 50-year warranty on the product. It's a wood product. Has a zinc bromide, borate glue in it. When termites eat it, it kills them. So literally, this stuff will resist termites like crazy. It is one of the best products there is, and it's also extremely waterproof. The waterproof resins and the chemicals they put in to kill the termites also make it waterproof. It kills 2 birds with 1 stone. And that's my pest control days. Zinc borate. B-O-R-A-A-T-E. Borate, just like it sounds.
It's hurts termites better.
You gotta take that as a Bible.
Termites take zinc.
Yeah, the borate part is the part that kills you. Here. Yep. Another specific thing, and this is Fort Worth specific, doesn't mean a whole lot to a whole lot of customers, but you need to know it, is our trim. We actually use a thicker trim to go around these windows than just about every other factory, and I think every other factory. They could have changed in the last 3 months. I don't like to use absolute, but it should be absolute. So what these are is receiver windows, okay, guys? These windows are made to take lap siding, regular siding, so they're made to have that gap. These are weep poles. Y'all know what a weep pole does? It allows water to travel all the way down here and come out of here rather than going in the window or creating condensation inside the window. It's called a weep pole, yes. And so that moisture will go down and come through here, but they're always going to have that gap here. But we know people, customers, i.e. don't like it, so we put the thicker trim all the way around, sides, back, everywhere. Specific to Palm Harbor, Fort Worth is we do trim out all windows, all sides with the thicker trim. Okay, that is a big deal. Dual pane windows, of course, that's us in Austin specific, but we are. I think everybody's doing the dual panes now. Everybody got them now. Good there.
You have the option for the
Low E, yes. Now our low E's, it's either a .29 or a .32. We go to the modular window because we're not going to stock 3 or 4 windows. So when you go to a low E window, we're using our modular rated window, which is with the new codes is unbelievably efficient. It's almost twice as efficient as this window, and this one is very efficient. You can get it's the number one thing I would do. So to give you a perspective, you could do 2x6 walls, R30 in the roof, 22 in the floor with R19 and cool ply roof decking without the windows. And I can do another house with just the windows, and I'm going to beat you in the electricity with just the windows. Yes, every time.
and it depends on how many windows and the size of the home is.
It's but it's usually about $1,000, give or take. 'Cause most of our houses have
That'd be
13,
the best thing
15
you could
windows.
throw in as an incentive.
Are they only
Always.
available with the cross?
They all have the grids. Oh, that's the next thing I was going to say. It's a great question. All my low E windows have grids. Okay, every one of
Yeah,
them.
good point.
but it's super efficient. But you got to think, most of your heat loss and everything comes out of windows. We got 14 windows in this house. There's tons and tons of windows. We do that on purpose, but you need that efficiency through the windows. And I know that because when we go to like Oklahoma, our homes won't quite pass where they're at. We can just do lower windows and it does, instead of doing all the energy upgrade. And that's how I figured that out, is through the codes through the city.
05 has without the grids. You just can't get the same supplier.
Our mod windows, it's a different window than that specific window, I would assume. Now, I need to go look at the efficiency to verify that, but I would assume ours are just a hair more efficient because that's not a mod low. The mod lowies are a little bit different, for sure. But you're probably right. They're probably available and we haven't got them. That would be my guess. Let's go back inside.
But it has grids too, right?
They do it for spring.
Lead with the smart panel around the windowsills. Start running out of stuff.
Accommodation units.
Just kidding.
He's got a conference call.
You talking about the Bible story?
Yeah.
With the door? I don't know the story. Do you know the story? I know it looks like those look like.
Yeah, the 6 panel.
Yeah, the 6 panel.
What was it? What'd you say?
Jehovah's.
Mormons. Jehovah's Witnesses. But they did it for, just to protect their house, right? This was the cross, and then this was an open Bible. I think that's what it is. something like
Yeah,
that.
and they would protect you from evil spirits.
Okay, half shells. Does everybody do that in the scenario? I don't walk a lot of Fleetwoods and I apologize for that.
You
Okay,
what?
base cabinets, all my base cabinets that have shells have
Yes.
half shells.
Yeah, and they're finished.
And they're finished out.
Yes.
That's a great point.
Yes, that's huge.
Fort Worth specific half shells, we do those because if you get a customer that can't get on their hands and knees, even me, I work out a lot and I still don't want to get on my hands and knees, it hurts, okay? At 43 years old, it just does. So when you have that shelf that comes all the way out at your house, what do you have to do to get in there? You have to get on your hands and knees. And what's back there? You don't know. You haven't seen it in 2 years, right? So with this half shelf, you get both, best of both worlds. You don't have to get on your hands and knees. If you need something, you got it. You can see back there, so you always are using what's back there. And you still get the top shelf use. And you can put a tall blender or something down there, and it still can be fit in there with all your other stuff. So even the shelf at Fort Harbor, and you see how that bit can benefit you? Yeah. I got to tie this stuff down, but we'll do that one future benefit. Let's see, programmable thermostat, of course, is pretty standard on everybody. Half-edge sheetrock. I know that's Austin and us, but that's specific to us unless they're doing sheetrock. If they're doing drywall at Fleetwood, it is a little bit different. But if they're doing their standard vinyl walls, that is 3/8-inch sheetrock, guys. Half-inch sheetrock on a 2864 Benbrook, and everybody's had that house here, so you know which one I'm talking about, adds about 2,800 pounds to the house. Does that give you a perspective? That's huge. Just going from 3/8 to half-inch, because we did it with the Benbrook back in like 2010, and we weighed them, and it was a 28, right at 2,800, right, it was a 3,000 pound difference just in the gypsum. Would that make it more sound deadening quality? Yes. More energy efficient? Yes. It does all those things for you. Now, question for you. I know we have some vinyl, some drywall. Is there a difference in the width of my gypsum?
No.
No, it's half-inch no matter what, okay? Can I get drywall in this house throughout?
Or except the wet areas.
Yes, everywhere with the wet areas, and it looks like hopefully I'll get to that soon on everything. We'll see.
What about the benefit of engineered studs? You told me about your engineered studs specifically.
Finger jointed studs. That's actually a good one. I'm not sure it's us specific, but it's still a good one. Finger jointed studs, re-engineered studs. One, it's green. They take leftovers and they actually finger join them and do this with them. Believe it or not, though, it's stronger, especially on your downforce. It's way stronger. It's not necessarily this way, but no stud is when you do it that way. But it gives you a lot more strength this way. It also is greener, like I said, and it allows your walls to be straight. So when you do a tape and texture wall and an 8.5 sidewall, have you ever seen a straight tree? Never in our lives. Have you ever seen a full 2x4 or a 2x3 that goes 8.5 feet that's straight? No, they twist. Everybody's seen your fences when you build a fence.
catch that. It was a green.
It's
Green building.
because you're using
Sorry,
extra
good question.
wood.
So as we take all the wood, we send it back to the mill, they re-engineer it into an 8.5 foot stud for us that's finger jointed.
Okay.
And that way they use the good pieces, of course, so you can't use all pieces, but any little piece that we've cut off, they'll put it at the top, you know. and have this piece at the top, and they'll have this piece in the middle, and this piece in the middle. It's neat how it works. But it ends up being a stronger stud as far as top to bottom, and it gives you straighter walls. Because again, back in the day when we tried to do texture in manufactured homes, you would see them a little 2x4 every now and then sticking out of the stud, and that's because it was twisted and bending, because you're trying to go 7.5, 8, 8.5 feet. Back then it was 7.5 feet, admittedly. The 7.5 feet straight, you're not gonna find very many 2x4s that are perfectly straight from 7.5 feet. You just don't do it. Even if they are pressure treated and kilned and all that stuff that we do to our lumber, or that we get, that's how we buy it. Footwear specific. Admittedly, I'm not on that stuff. Did I give enough already?
A lot.
Okay, is that a lot? I don't know, compared to everybody
Yeah,
else.
but bring it on.
I'll go on for 2 hours.
I got 16 more pages I can write on.
Okay, yeah, that's a lot too. Yeah, bar doors, everybody's doing them. Hidden hinges, everybody's doing them. Green dots. Does everybody know what the green dots means on our plugs?
We tested them.
Means you tested them. If you don't know what that means we've tested it at the plant. Every home is function tested with Palm Harbor. That is Palm Harbor, us, and Austin specific. I'm sure Fleetwood does it too, but I'm not 100%. But definitely us and Austin, we function test every home. Now, when I say function test, I don't know if y'all realize the depth of what that means. That means we're getting on top of the roofs, we're checking the roofs, we're checking the ducts, we literally go outside and there's water all over the floor, where they've got all the houses hooked up to water. They're filling up the tubs, they're running the dishwashers, they're running ice makers if it has them, filling up all your water lines with water, capping them off to make sure they're not leaking.
What's the dye you put in it?
Do what?
Is there dye?
There is a dye for the tubs and there's a dye for the sinks, because you see it when you first buy the home, and little pink stuff comes out. Yep. So they put a little dye in there to check for leaks and all that good stuff. They fill up your tub with the dye, a little bit of dye in there, and they check for leaks in that. They're going to run your air conditioner and do an AC test. They're going to check all your walls and all your plugs, and that's what these green dots means. That means when it left our plant, that plug was 100% working, no matter what. That way you don't get a product out to your site, you start to have a big party, you go to plug something in and none of the plugs. Now you shouldn't get to that point, but if you did and you went to plug something in, it'd be a little embarrassing. And definitely not something you'd have to worry about with Palm Harbor home. Like I said,
Every single home.
every single home, no matter what. 7 out of 7, 5 out of 5, some of, they say HUD requires every 3 out of 5, 5 out of 7. It just depends on who you talk to, what the actual number is, and I really don't know what the number is, but you do not have to test them all. I do know that. It's 1 out of whatever. We do every one, no matter what, without exception. We do not want the customer to get a product that has no customer. Now, can it go down the road and do that number for 5 or 6 hours and something come wrong? Yes, but that's the factory trim out and go keep care process. That's another thing I do want to talk about that's definitely footwear specific. We're not perfect, and you know this firsthand. Unfortunately, I apologize for that. Like a man, I'll apologize to you like a man, because I messed that up and they did not get your back, and I apologize. Edit that. And I apologize for that, because every one of you know how I feel about that. I hate it when I make a mistake, it gets me emotional. I hate it when I make a mistake and it pisses me off when we can't do anything about it. If I could get the plants to put just a little bit of money back on the sales side, that way when the stuff like this comes up, we can fix it without angst, because it's really just the customer that pays for it. But ultimately, our service department. Our service department are absolute machines when it comes down to it. We do have the best service department by far, in my opinion, hands down. I've traveled enough over the last 3 or 4 weeks to know we're doing a pretty good job overall compared to these people. Greg out there came from Florida. He did it over there for 15 years. He's been doing it with us over here. I think it's 38 years total for Palm being a service manager. He's a machine. He does what's right. He's a black and white type guy. He doesn't do in between at all. There's no gray area for him. Either it's covered or it's not, Either it makes sense or it doesn't,
Write that down. Service management factory, 38 years experience. That's
38 years.
That's a big deal. That's I'm sure more than half his life, unless he's in the 70s.
Guys, you can say this for a fact. Our DSM at 18 years with this company at Palm Harbor is a rookie at the factory, and that's a fact. Howard, 55 years. This is footwear specific. Howard, 55 years. Eric is only 56, 57 at most years old, and he's been doing it for 30 years already. Allison, my sales secretary that we all know, 28 years with the company now. She just hit. My quality control manager is 26 years or 28 years now. My 2 twins who do the electricity, 2 little Hispanic girls about that tall, they're not little girls, they're women. They're probably grandmas at this point, they gotta be. They've been with us for since we were before Palm Harbor and in Burleson. Before the Burleson plant existed, they were doing electricity out of that plant. So the tenure at the plant is unbelievable, and they all, pretty much every one of them care about our product. for sure. So that tells you we got hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years experience building your home and servicing it and taking care of it through and through, and on the sales side. So you can tap that all the way down the sales line. Let's see what else. Of course, our full backsplash, we all know that, the standard, and I think Austin does a lot of that too. But any cage product, all the way up to the bottom of the cabinets, all the way up to the ceiling, and in each bathroom standard, no matter what.
Anything special about your ducting?
Well, in the ceiling, it's residential flex duct. Okay, our standard story, so you have the real story, is fiberglass duct, graduated, and all that's factory. But when's the last time you did vents in the floor?
Never.
I haven't in a long time. I only do it once or twice a year when I go to New Mexico or all gas houses, because it's the only time I really do it. But we use residential flex duct. It's actually the same ducting system that most site-built $1 million homes use. That's how I would put it too, because that's what they're using. It does have an R4 to 6 value, somewhere in that area, or 8, whatever it is. I'll find out.
But it's not graduated.
It's not as graduated, that's correct. It has some of that, but it's natural in the tube itself. It's not necessarily graduated.
Right, that's correct.
But it's just as efficient, because the way they run them is a little different, things like that. I'll get you some more specifics on that. I'm not Mr. AC. I'm good at the floor story, but we don't do that anymore, and I need to get the real story up here and get what's available there, and I don't want to lie to you. So we'll get that, and we'll do it next time I'm here, for sure. The holes in the sinks. When's the last time y'all feature benefited the hole in the sink in the bathroom? I know it sounds crazy, one more time.
Oh, yeah, it's like, hey.
Okay, everybody that's had kids, nephews, nieces, it does not matter, has heard the old story.
They fill it up.
They run in here, they open those, they turn it on, or they just do it once on their own sink, turn it on, and leave. And here we go with the overflow. Nobody ever looks over here and realizes we have an overflow hole. And what that does, obviously, is allow the kiddos to do that, and you're not going to flood your sink and ruin your investment. Or even have a chance to ruin your investment. Of course, your investment's pretty protected from water, but even have a chance to mess up your investment just because of a little hole in the sink. Do you think that costs a whole lot of extra money? Not really, but we feel like it's important for you and your future value of your home. Now, that's just literally, but that's not specific to that. Everybody does it, admittedly. Okay, so let's get off the soapbox. Let's do feature benefit. This is my favorite part. What we're going to do is a round robin. And it's fun. Don't be stressed about it. If you get caught up, you get caught up. Haha, who cares, okay? It used to be my favorite thing to do as an RSC. I'll literally start with one. I'll do a feature benefit, and I'll tie it down. And then somebody jumps right into the kitchen and does another one. And then somebody does another one. And then somebody does another one. And each one of you are going to do what you like, and each one of you are going to learn something from each other. Because it's more about y'all than it is about me. I put on enough show today. I can put on a show. I can spend an hour in a corner. Nobody wants to do that. So it's fun to do the round robin, because when you get to the end, the tie downs get pretty silly and things of that nature. So we will have some fun with it. So I'll start and do one, and we'll do like maybe one round, since there's so many people. I didn't realize there was going to be that many people. One round here, and then we'll do maybe one round in the bathroom, one round outside, or at least one round in here for sure, and then we'll take it from there. So I'll start, and then think about who wants to go next, and we'll just jump right in and keep going, okay? I want to do a hard one that y'all don't ever do. What can I do here? I got to start big, because I don't want to do one y'all like to do and then screw all that. I'll do the half shelf. Mrs. Customer, you said you've got lots of pots and pans and you need lots of storage in your kitchen. Well, one thing Palm Harbor Fort Worth does specifically for you and your family is we're going to do half shelves. Now, what that does for you is keep you from getting on your hands and knees and having to grab that stuff underneath there. You know what I mean? Hurting your back, hurting your knees. You can see what's back there, and it's going to allow you to put everything you need, tall, short, up top, down bottom, doesn't matter what. The big thing with that is you're not going to have anything back there for 2 years that's getting dusty and collecting and not being used. Can't you see how that would benefit your family? Yeah, me too. Next.
I'll go.
Don't forget to tie it down.
Okay. Mr. and Mrs. Customer.
The less the options you got, so.
Exactly, that's why you jump up in here. One of the things that is specific to this model home is the ball bearing drawers, ball bearing door glides. It is able to withstand up to 200 pounds. I would recommend that ever. But as you can see, the further it comes out, the more sturdy it gets. And you won't have any problems with any storage in it, or it being unlevel, or at least breaking at times. You see how that could be beneficial as far as you always having a continuous smooth glide and ease of movement into the kitchen?
Yes.
perfect.
See, it's not as easy as.
It's not.
It's not easy. The next round gets easier, so it's okay. That's a good thing. Keep going. And if you want to do the same one, you have a different one on the same thing, you're not overdoing anybody. Go for it. You'll learn something. Who cares? If you want to do the same thing, do it.
Mr. Customer, for washing dishes, you have space under the sink so you can step and be straight, so you don't have to lean, so your back is not hard. This space is very valuable.
Nice.
Awesome.
So I know she didn't build one, so I'm not gonna hammer. Feature is the kick plate. The benefit is you never have to bend over to wash dishes. You can get right up in there with your feet and wash dishes and not hurt your back over the next
Yes.
35 years. And the advantage of that is most of the time that's taking out the dishwasher. So when they take out the dishwasher, you should think kick plate, feature benefit, okay?
All right, Mr. and Miss Customer. Our feature that we have here in our Palm Harbor, Fort Worth is that we use PEX Plumbing. PEX Plumbing, if you guys are familiar with PEX Plumbing, that's what they use in Lambeau Field. It can resist temperatures down to negative
95.
95.
It's 95, yeah. Down to negative 95. So the advantage for you is that even if we had, remember we had a cold snap, everything froze?
Right.
So the advantage to you is that with the plumbing that we use, it is not gonna freeze, your pipes will not bust, and you will save money on not having to repair.
All right, Mr. and Mr. Customer, Mr. and Mrs. Customer, one thing that we use in our Palm Harbor homes is we have double pane windows, as you can see here, which are very beautiful, residential looking, very energy efficient, which can save you a lot of money on your energy bills. And not only that, they're easy to clean. You just pull them up right there with this little lever here, and they pop out. You can clean the outside from the inside, which saves you a lot of time. And also gives you good resale value for your home. Did you see where that could benefit you?
Perfect. You good?
Somebody have a little more fun with the benefit you tie down. Give me something else on tie down. Or try to. And I'm not hating because I did something.
All right, Mr. and Mrs. Customer, have you ever gone on vacation and worried about, oh, what if there's a water leak and I come back and my home is flooded?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Well,
Worry
the great
about
thing
it.
about this home is that we've got this shut-off valve where you don't really have to worry about you getting flooded or something, a pipe breaking. You don't think that would be beneficial for you to know that you're not gonna have to pay a lot of money
Absolutely.
on fixing some pipes?
How would you rather spend your Sunday? Fixing water leaks or watching the game? Me too. You know what I mean? Good tie downs. Okay. Next. If you need a minute to figure out something, that's fine. I'm not rushing. I'm not rushing.
I'll go. Mr. and Mrs. Customer, want to point your attention to this feature here. We've got these beams here. Now the amazing thing is they're hand stained and put up here. That's going to give you a great natural look. You also have the shelves right here that the pipes are holding up. And this isn't advantages. This isn't built with something that's going to peel off vinyl pieces. It's going to look dated at some point. And if you wanted to modernize it, you can paint it. So advantages to you that you've got something that's going to last a long time, or you can easily convert it if you wanted to change the whole look of your home, which saves you a lot of money.
Can I do one? Okay. So, okay. Hey, I'm gonna have you stay here with Will. So Will, hey man, you like bacon?
I love bacon.
I love bacon. You love bacon. Bacon's American, right? So you're over here, you're cooking bacon, right? And on this beautiful flat surface stove. But that's not what I'm going to tell you the benefit of. I'm telling you about the full all the way to ceiling backsplash installed. This is standard. In other words, it comes with the house. You're not having to pay extra for it. But say you're out here and you're cooking bacon. You're going to cook bacon 7 days a week probably if you're like me, right? Mm-hmm. Anyway, so what happens with bacon when it's hot and it's cooking, it's popping?
Popping, grease getting...
It gets all over everywhere. Now, if you don't have this backsplash, our smaller competitors are going to have paper walls. You've seen them, right? Mm-hmm. With the strips and stuff. But the paper walls, what does grease do to bacon? or what does bacon do to the paper? Sorry.
It'll make it come loose.
I love bacon.
Stain. It'll stain it. It'll discolor it. It's even a fire hazard.
Yeah.
And that's in one cooking. Just think over 10 years of use. Okay, so what would you say it would cost to replace that? Probably discontinued paneling, right? And replace it with a tile backsplash all the way to the ceiling.
At least hundreds of dollars.
Well, I've just recently had it done. It's thousands of dollars.
Wow.
So this is standard. You might go to somewhere else. There might be a $1,000 option, whatever. But we think about this up front, right? So $1,000 for somewhere else you're paying for it, or thousands of dollars to replace, or you buy a Palm Harbor and it's standard. You get it up front with the house. Now your family's going to certainly enjoy that for the duration of their ownership of this home. Don't you agree?
I agree.
Fantastic.
Okay, I'm gonna stop you for a second, because he told the story and did it.
Yeah.
And that's okay too. None of us have really told the story. That was storytelling. Also, he did it honestly like Barry and Gary wanted. Barry, Gary, and IHM want. They want feature, advantage, and your benefit is you're not having to spend money to do it in the future. That's what I hear from them over and over and over in y'all's training. So make sure and also he led in with a question. That's a big deal for me. So Mr. Business Customer, you cook a lot. Can you have too many plugs in your kitchen? No, of course you can't. The more the merrier, right? Let's count them. Whatever you've got to ask that question to lead into that feature benefit. Otherwise it's, hey, look at my plugs. Well, nobody cares about the plugs. Okay, and another reset is when you give customer a feature, our ball bearing drawer guides, you want, in your customer's mind, you're thinking so. And you've got to give the so as a salesperson, if that helps you feature benefit, okay? So when you say, oh, we have 200-pound drawer guides, the customer's thinking, so what? I don't care about your drawer guides. What are you talking about? You know what I mean? So you got to make them care about it. And how do you do that? By advantage benefit, okay? So when you give them the feature, hey guys, this is 200-pound drawer guides. It's just, the ones you have in your office that hold all those files are so heavy you can't hardly inch them.
Yeah.
It's those same type drawer guides that we use in our houses. They're using in those cabinets. If they work in those cabinets, are they going to work in your house?
Yes.
Don't you think? Absolutely. Now let's talk about the extendables. Now we get into the second one. So lead in with a question, which he did. He did obviously perfection. That's what he's here for. Lead in with a question. Feature. Tile backsplash, the advantage, you don't have to splash grease up on the benefit of it. You're not having to cut out a piece of your wall or cover it up. Now when you cover it up, is that grease still there? Yeah, so you just have a grease spot behind your pretty wall. And my OCD mind, that's gonna drive me crazy. I can't have that. I want it pristine back there, because that's why I'm putting it up, it's not just covered up. I want it to look nice. So if it ever taken down, you left a grease spot there, eventually that's gonna create bugs, roaches, you name it, can get behind those walls and just feast off that for years, so it's gonna create issues, not just on the front side, but on the back side of the wall too, okay? So who's next? And don't mean you have to do it his way, you do it your way, that's fine, that's why we're learning.
I think that's everybody in the kitchen.
Everybody in the kitchen? Okay, we good?
Yeah.
So let's just keep it one per area?
Yeah.
Probably, okay, let's do a master bath.
Let me wrap it up.
So we'll just do the bath and then move on. Cool? Well, let's do, you want to do the outside of the home or the bath? What do y'all prefer?
Outside.
Outside of the home? Let's do the outside of the home. Sorry. I'm going to do one of the two, and I want to do,
Yeah.
I want to get one of them.
What do you think about that?
Speaking of the lag bolt underneath there on the flip, that's not the flooring, guys. When y'all hear our floor squeak, it's the lag bolt underneath 99.9% of the time, is it not?
Oh, yes.
The lag bolt comes loose in transport, and all you do is go in there and boom, as long as they don't have their guns turned up too high and they get it right, it'll lag in there just fine and you're done with that squeaky floor.
Did you do yours?
Okay, man. I'm going to start with the outriggers.
Yeah,
Things that
I missed
stick
that.
out.
Let's do
So
it.
when you do it with Clayton, and this is us girls talking for a second, but with Clayton, they sell against y'all with full-length outriggers. Oh, we have full-length outrigger standard. So what you're telling me, Mr. and Mrs. Customers, their frames are not wide center, they're narrow center. they're still in the center of the home, but they're more towards the center of the home instead of towards the outside center. They're in the inside center. Does that make sense? So when you put them on the inside center, all those outriggers do is keep the house from doing this and transport. That's it. Okay. So if my frame is narrow, what does that house do? Get topsy-turvy, right? And so if I have the outriggers all the way to the edge, it didn't do that as much. So with Palm Harbor, we put our frames 99.5 inches apart instead of 89.5 inches apart. And it allows your frame to be on the outside edge of center, so it doesn't do this as much, i.e. our partial outriggers. We don't need full-length outriggers. Plus, if you ever wanted to upgrade to brick skirting later and your outriggers came all the way to the edge of the home, you're cutting niching that brick every outrigger. Is that going to cost you more money later down the road? Absolutely. So feature is really our frame with our outriggers, 99.5 inches apart. And the advantage of that is to, if you ever wanted to have skirting, put on with the brick, and the benefit to that is you never spend an extra money to put that skirting on. Make sense? Okay, pick something. Next.
I'll go. Something that Mr. and Mrs. Customer that I always notice when I walk out here and I look at the house is I want you to take close attention to the 12-inch eaves. They go all around, they completely go around the house. As you'll see, there's some ventilation, some ducts, right? That's for the house to not, or to let hot air breathe. And when air just allows it to escape and therefore cool down your house naturally.
Yes.
So the benefit of that, of course, is lower electricity bills. You don't have to keep the AC on, possibly as high as you would without this. Okay?
That's great.
And also, little tip, it also allows you extra room for gutters down the road if you want to put gutters on the roof.
Nice. And we do offer gutters as an option.
Mr. and Mrs. Customer, have you ever went up to a home and you saw the window frames around the windows? It was deteriorating. You know, the wood around it deteriorating. And the reason that happens is because of moisture builds up behind those windows. Where our windows have weep holes in them, which allows the water to drain out of the windows if it's raining or something like that. And would you think that would be important is saving you money in the future with replacing windows? Did the home that you looked at Titan, did they have those in it? Would you even consider buying a home without those?
No, absolutely not. There you go. So also windows get hot during the day, right, on the outside pane, and when they cool off, they do condensate, right? You wake up in the morning and see condensation on your windows. That water has to go somewhere, and what they do is when the condensation builds up, it comes out those windows. Next.
All right, Mr. Miss Customer.
Good job, though, everyone.
If you look on the outside of our homes here, this is what we call Smart Panel. This has a 50-year warranty on it. So the benefit is it's going to last a long time. You can repaint it. It actually has borerite, zinc borerite in it, which is termite resistant. So again, the feature is that you have a good product. It's going to last 50 years, and you can repaint it, and it doesn't allow termites.
Right.
Termites die when they eat it.
So, Mr. and Mrs. Customer, I mean, what do you think of the outside of this house? It's a beautiful look. This is a great looking siding. You've got these little divots right here, which give it the nice wood look. It's in right now, and it's also a classic look. It goes on and on. But the real beauty of this exterior siding is it doesn't cost you a whole lot of money. We put them on our home standard for you, and it's going to save you a lot of money. Now, Mr. Customer, have you ever heard of a honeydew?
Oh, yeah.
Honeydew. Yeah, so your wife wants you to do this. Your wife wants you to take care of something that you don't want to. Well, not always. A honeydew is not always going to save you a ton of money for, let's say, 25 years to come. Well, in the first 5 years, your wife may have a honeydew where she decides she wants a whole new look outside. She wants to change the color. So if you repaint that home within the first 5 years that you own it, you're going to take that warranty from the 25-year to 50-year. And that's how you get your 50-year warranty. So now, let's hope she forgets about that. So you keep it in your mind that you know you can really score big by painting that home a different color. You can just say in 4 years, you know what? Let's change it. Let's do a different color. You pick.
Pretty good comeback.
Oh.
That was great. It can be clear coated. It does not have to be repainted. Just to keep in mind, anything you try to, any application put on the home extends it out. And I'll get more details on specific. Send you all the warranty information so you can have it. What else?
Mr. and Mrs. Customer, has it ever happened to you that you go to work in the morning, it's nice and sunny outside, and then when you get home, it starts raining, right? And now you're trying to figure out how you're going to get inside your house without getting wet. So the good thing about these homes is that you've got these recessed eaves, right? Entry, recessed entry. So it covers you, so you can actually do a little run for it, and you can actually have time to get your keys up. It's happened to me before where I'm pouring rain and I get all wet, and then what happens? You end up getting sick the next day, right? So you try to avoid getting sick. So the benefit of having that is that you don't get sick. You don't get sick.
Nice. I like it. She is right though. How many of you fumbled with keys getting in your car, getting in anywhere? And that's how it starts.
I'll start like prepping it. I'm like, okay, where's my key? All right, let me see how fast it's going to take me to.
Because most people are going to have porches built on their houses, but they don't ever on their car. So if I'm going to tie in, I'm going to ask the question: have you ever been to your car when it's raining? And I know everybody has the lock, but your lock doesn't work, and you're trying to get in there, and you hit the button, and finally it works, and you're soaked.
Yeah.
It's the same concept with the house. I'm going to tie that right in with the house. And you're right. That's pretty funny. I like that. Who's that? Do I need a film? We good? I think we're good. Yep, we're good.
Okay.
Thank you guys. Appreciate y'all's time.
Thanks, man.
Thank you. Thank you.
Can we just give him the trophy? We made our brain work.
Oh, sure. I get a